Okay, yeah. So we have cloud service, the likes of iCloud, Google Drive. Everybody knows Google Drive, so at least you should have an idea of it. Even when your phone crashes, you can still recover your photos, whatever it is, your document, your important documents. You can still recover them back from the cloud. So that's just cloud, highly reliable. Then you have cloud providers. That's the likes of AWS. AWS leads the market basically. They own 40% of the share. Someone that has been existing for the past 20 years. Trust me, you can actually trust the guy with your how should I put it, that at any point in time he won't just close up his business. Then we have Azure. It's also a cloud provider. We have Google Cloud Platform. We have Alibaba. We have Oracle. But then, how did cloud originated? Only back then, what do we have? We have the likes of bulky stuffs, like something like this. So we have something like this, very bulky. If you want to just, assume you just decide one day that you want to host a Black Friday, you'll be thinking of adding a new server to your database, which is, let me say, not economical, because even at the end of the Black Friday, you now be thinking of how do I sell my server, because they are no longer useful. You are paying for what you are not using. That's not cost effective. So basically, cloud is all about optimizing costs. So let me put it this way: you are economizing. You're economizing the amount you spend on stuffs and the rest. Then back in 2002, Amazon was like, okay, they were no longer in need of their server. And they said, okay, what should we do with it? Should they sell it or not? So the idea sort of clicked, just one man's idea, and it really changed the world. You agree with me? The guys just said, okay, why don't you render it as a service? Then they started with all these developer and the rest. From there, they started upgrading before every other cloud provider started joining them, the Azure and the GCP. So Amazon actually started, so they have the experience, they have everything needed. That's just them. So in terms of scalability, they're highly scalable in the sense that, okay, I'm having the 5 gig free storage that I have in cloud is already full. I can actually increase the size within minutes, within seconds. Let me say precisely, within seconds, you just order for increased storage and it's done for you. But if my hard drive here is full, you'll be thinking of, okay, maybe it's tomorrow, next tomorrow, if I go to the market, exchanging it, copying my data to the new one, whatever it is, or getting a new hard drive and stuff like that. That takes 2-3 days. Now, comparing it with a big company, it takes them months, weeks. So it's not really scalable like that. And cost of operation, very high. That's why everybody's moving into cloud. Everybody's venturing into cloud. That's one thing about cloud. So very cost effective, scalable, and highly elastic. So we have the essential characteristics on demand. As I said previously, on demand. It says that you need it at this moment. It is readily available. Then the service model, the deployment model, the same thing. Deployment model is for developers. So it allows them to develop code. So essential characteristics, we have on-demand, broad network access, resource pooling, rapid elasticity, measured service. So let's take a look at what on-demand is. So it says when you are provisioning computing capability automatically, that's on-demand, without requiring human intervention. So let's take, for example, this my system now. I want to increase the storage. It means that we have to go to the market myself to get it. But in this situation like this, right from my home, I can say, okay, when the storage is almost full at 70%, increase the size. So that's it. You just set it and it's automatic. That's the word. You can see automatically is being highlighted here. It shows that it automatically increase in size. That's one of the advantages of cloud. Then broad network access simply means I can access it from anywhere in the world, anywhere. So if, let's say, take for example, I'm in Nigeria now, I can access it from anywhere. If I'm not even with my system, I can just with my phone, I can actually have access to it. If I'm in the plane, I can have access to it. If I'm anywhere, even in the market, I can say, oh, something's wrong. Let me take a look at my server. Is it down or not? Once, okay, the server is having a problem, I can actually just take a look at it and correct whatever it is that I want to do. Then resource pooling, so you can give user more than one access. Take for example, Google Drive. probably want to share your photo with someone, you can just share the link. The person can actually view it. But yeah, now I'm dealing with my system. There's no way. And gone are those days when the system you have 50 people carrying a launch of server, a server carrying it inside. Then we say it's as big as a house. For those of us that did computing, they will say it's as big as a house. Likes of this, the days of all this. What's the name of this guy? Charles Babbage and the likes. So now, very easy to use. You can actually share it. You don't need to come down to my system, use flash drive to collect it. No, you don't need that. Very easy. That's cloud. Now, rapid elasticity in the sense that, I need the traffic is high. I need to increase my memory size, or I need to increase my CPU. Like, let's take for example, I'm using an 8 gig RAM system. I need to increase to 16 to reduce latency, to reduce the latency, to have a low latency. Latency simply means the time it takes for your server to boot. Yeah, that's latency for you. So when you say low latency, it simply means it takes lesser time for it to boot. But when you're talking about high latency, it takes a long time. I don't know if you have been to a web page and you just load and something keeps loading. It won't. And okay, let's say for example, Wix website now. If you just go to Wix, you just know that something's loading and loading takes time. Sometimes it's frustrating, but this it won't do that. So that's one of the benefits of rapid elasticity. So when you say it's something should last, that is when the traffic is high, I want to reduce the latency. It will automatically increase the size for you. So that's what elasticity does for you. When it comes to measured service, as you know, you only pay for what you use, pay as you go. So that's measured service for us. If I'm using only 10 gig per month, I'm only paying for 10 gig, the cost of 10 gig. Like this one, okay, if I say, okay, I want to buy a 500 gig flash drive, and at the end of, for 3 years, I'm not using more than 200 gig. So the remaining 300 is just wasting there. But this one, you only pay for what you use. So that's just one of the benefits. Now we have service model, we have the likes of software as a service. There are just basically three: platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and software as a service. So when you say infrastructure, you are talking about the ground aspect of it, the ground. Let's say, for example, you have a farm. So the infrastructure is me clearing the farm for you. So I clear it for you so that you can plant something on it. So platform as a service is you come in there just planting. That's platform as a service. But software as a service is you just come in, someone has already planted the crop, you're only coming to harvest. So that's just it. So let's take a look at what we have here. So in this situation now, in on-site, you manage everything for you. You manage everything, the clearing, the buying, everything, you manage everything. So that's it. On-site is it's not cost effective. It's not at all. But when it comes to infrastructure as a service, at least it's cost effective in the sense that the networking aspect, the storage, the server, the virtualization are being managed by the service provider. So the remaining aspects, you do that yourself. It just let's take for example renting service now. Now you only need it on Saturday, maybe on your wedding day. You just go ahead and you rent it. Then after that, you don't need it again. So you only pay for what you use. But in the on-site, you have a wedding, you'll be thinking of, how do I buy a canopy? How do I get a welder to build one for me? All the stuff like that. And after Saturday, you don't need it again. So it becomes a wastage. You just put it in your house and nobody is there. You just be wondering, let me find a way. And by the time you want to sell it, you'll be selling it at a very low price compared to the amount you buy it. So that's not cost effective. Probably you're spending 1 million naira on the on-site aspect. But in the infrastructure aspect, you are not spending more than 20,000 and the rest. So it's very, very, very cost effective. And that's why people really venture into infrastructure as a service, because it's very easy for them to use. All you just need to do is get canopy, get the share. We will do the food and the rest. The cooking, how people will come, we calculate down for ourselves. So that's it. Then platform as a service is just like, okay, everything has been done for you. You just come, let everybody come. And you don't need to prepare food. You don't need to, everything has been done for you. You just wear your clothes and let your people come, they will eat. That's it. But software as a service, even your people self, we're gonna bring them from home. That's software as a service for you. We will bring them from home. You know that one, they will still have to enter a cab. This one, don't worry, just give us the allocation. We'll bring them from home. All you just need to do is, sir, come there. Don't worry, people will come. That's software as a service for you. So basically, let's come to the technological aspect of technology terms. So in networking, when you talk about networking, the on-site aspect simply means you are buying the server yourself, you are managing the storage, the operating system, the runtime, whether you want to run it in Java, Python, whatever it is, the data, the application, whatever it is that you want to do, you are actually managing it yourself. But when it comes to infrastructure as a service, the only thing you are managing is the operating system, the runtime, the middleware, the data, and the application. But platform as a service, let's say, for example, all this web design, Wix, and the WordPress, whatever it is, everything has been done for you. The runtime is there. All you just need to do is come, drag templates, like that. You don't really need code itself. Just drag templates and the rest. Do HTML. HTML is not really for hosting some stuff like for. It's not really runtime. It's not runtime. So you just maybe want to add few features to it like CSS and the rest. Just put it, then you are good. But software as a service, this cloud service provider like Google Drive. There's nothing to do. WhatsApp, for example, there's nothing to do there. You just come, type message, post status, and the rest. You are good to go. Netflix, you just come, watch movie, and that's all. So that's the benefit. But these are they are not cost effective. So they are not at all, because you are paying high for this. So let's say, for example, if you want to increase your storage in Google Drive now, you have to pay high. They might charge you maybe $20 per year or per month. So depending on per gig, you are charged per gigabyte that you purchase. But this one too is not really cost effective. For example, running an Elastic Beam stack, it does this for you automatically. All you just do is you run your code, and that's all. And it's not cost effective in the sense that it's going. Let me say, if you are deploying this now, if you are spending 50 cents in this place, you might be spending $1 because AWS is managing it for you, or your service provider. But here you are developing the operating system yourself, the runtime, the data, and the application. So you are paying less. It's just like a farm. In this situation, all you just do is you are not planting the crop. But here now, you're hiring someone to clear it, to make heaps, to plant. All you just do is harvest. But here now, they are doing everything for you. They will just harvest it and they'll come and bring it to your house. So that's it. So it's not cost effective because you end up paying them. But in this situation now, you are doing everything, but very expensive because it's not something you can do on your own alone. So you have to acquire people. Now let's go to the customer AWS share responsibility. So in a situation like this, I know, okay, this cloud, fine. I have my own role to play. The provider has his own role to play in terms of security issue. Let's take, for example, AWS handles the compute, the storage, the database, and the networking. So let's go back to this. As you can see, the storage, when you talk about server, you're talking about the compute aspect of it, and the virtualization, the networking aspect. So AWS handles it. So what you handle is the operating system, the runtime, the data, the application, and the middleware. So that's what's called shared responsibility model. That's where it's being applied. Now, where you deploy the servers, AWS does that for you. So in terms of region, availability zone, edge locations, that's the function of AWS. So they are responsible for security of the cloud. Take note of the word "of." Let's say proposition "of." So take note of that word "of," security of the cloud. But as a customer, you are responsible for security in the cloud because you are the one operating in the cloud. AWS is just giving you the infrastructure.
But is there any question from Mohammed and Deji? Like, just hold on. Like, whatever he has said since, whatever he's been saying, is there any question? Is there something that is not clear enough? Because this part that he's trying to touch is very, very important. Like, this is something you just need to know. It's AWS inbuilt, like, because customer you'll be dealing with, they should understand. And even in interviews, these are the things they want to hear from you. Like AWS, whatever you are deploying in cloud, it's their problem. But what you deploy is your problem. So off and in. So those words, you need to understand what it means. But for whatever he's been saying all day, if you have questions, I would like you to ask. That's why I've been here. Is there any question?
No questions, Professor. I've actually went through this section somewhere, so I kind of understand.
Oh, okay. Okay. What about DJ? DJ, are you there? DJ, just join. You don't sleep, Abby.
Yes, I'm with you.
Oh, okay. Is there any question?
No. Thank you.
No, okay. All right.
Okay. So we have our responsibility for security in the cloud because you are not working in the cloud. So it's responsibility in terms of security. Let's say, for example, okay, AWS will help you manage your AWS will give you the server. Okay, fine. We help you keep your data. It will be safe. So at no point in time will we say, oh, there's a fire accident somewhere and we lost your data. No, AWS is responsible for that. But in terms of you giving your password to someone else to like extract file or to delete whatever it is, it's your own responsibility as a customer. So because you are not working in the cloud, AWS aspect is just manage the server for you, ensure that your data are safe. And sorry, give me a minute. Okay, let me try to share the link. Come in. Okay, so it's your responsibility as a customer to like ensure that okay, everything's secured. And when it comes to platform, it's also your responsibility. Your runtime, the runtime, okay, which platform do you want to use? You decide that one. Which application do you want to run? You decide that one. The identity and access management. Oh, how many people do I want to create it for? That's we call it the IAM. So it's your own responsibility. Should I create a user? Should I create a role? Should I give someone else access to my account by creating an IAM user? All those ones, they are your responsibility. You can't force, AWS cannot force you to do that. The only thing AWS will allow you to do is create a root user. But other things like creating an IAM user, they are your responsibility. Your operating system is your responsibility. The network and firewall configuration is your responsibility. And how is it your responsibility? It's your responsibility in saying that, oh, the application or the service is already there. Let's take, for example, WAF. That's, I think, web access firewall or something, I can't remember. So WAF is just for security purpose to protect you against DDoS attack. So it's your own responsibility that, okay, the service is there. It's your own responsibility that you want to make use of it. So if you are not making use of it, then AWS is not responsible for anything. So that's just it. Then the client-side data encryption is also your own responsibility. And how is this your responsibility? It's your responsibility in the sense that, okay, you have a file and you want to like make sure that this file is secured. So it's your own aspect of it to do that. The server-side encryption too is also yours. Let's say, for example, you have a file, you have to encrypt it with. We have different type of encryption though, but all these ones is your responsibility to put them into place. The customer aspect too is also your responsibility. That is, you are encrypting your file. You know, let's say, for example, WPS now. There are some files you upload that they will ask you to input the password before you can view the file. You open the file and they ask you to upload before you can view it. Okay, the networking traffic protection is yours too, all the other ones. The AWS is responsible for, you know, I showed you in the diagram, the compute, the storage, database, and networking. Is their function. That's for software. So all these ones, they will do that for you. You do the remaining. So you have to take note of that. So sometimes they ask you in solution architect exam, they will say, okay, the following responsibility of customers, responsibility of security in the cloud. They can say in. Once they say in, just know they can say except or whatever it is. So if they're talking about hosting an application, data runtime, it's still in the cloud. But once they are talking about compute, storage, database, networking, region, or availability zone, just know it's AWS responsibility. They are not customer responsibility. So take note of that word. But once anytime they are talking about hardware repair, hardware damage, all those stuffs, fire disasters, they are all AWS responsibility. They are security of the cloud. But in the cloud, as a customer, all you're dealing with is the platform, the operating system, whatever you going to use in the cloud is your own responsibility. Anything outside, sometimes you just see some option, you say, what kilo come here? Kilo come for fire disaster. It's like they find it go safe. I don't know if you are getting it. So that's really that's responsibility of security of the cloud. So that's just this aspect. Then why AWS? Consistency and reliability. So someone that has been existing for a long time, as I said, you can actually trust them with your data that, okay, no, at no point in time will they just fold up. And when it comes to security, people have been going there and say, oh, no, your file is very secure, highly secure. They have the lack of WAF, whatever process they have, the multi-factor authentication, whatever it is, people trust them. So the market share, they own 40% of the market share. For someone to hold 40% of cloud market share, no, no, this person get money now. It's just like go, even go say, let me give you that one, that one. So that's our market share with that aspect of it. Then I think probably 2010, it's 10 billion naira, 10 billion network share also. And now they are far ahead of it, so it's highly increasing. And even their how should I put it? Their workers, they are highly paid. I think they are the most paid. In terms of location, they are almost everywhere. They have many regions. I think 26 regions of recent. Of recent. I'm not sure of recent now, but I think they have 26 and they're still doing more. So that's the aspect with that. Okay. After 10 minutes, we have to join back with the link. So we almost know what to do. AWS global infrastructure. So when we talk about data centers, what's a data center? It's just where the server has been stored. Let's take, for example, a room. So the room you are in presently, your system or your phone, where whatever it is that you're using to stream, is your the room itself is the data center, because that's where the laptop is. But ability zone simply means you have something like that in a house, and you have, let me say, 3 rooms or 5 rooms, and you're having a system like that. So that's what we call availability zone. So they are really available. If at any point in time a particular door is being locked, you can actually have access to the other one in the other room. So that's availability zone for us. So let me use states basically. Let's take, for example, on those states or whatever state it is, we have Akure, we have Owo, we have whatever it is. So if at any point in time there's an incident in Owo and it probably is not being, maybe there's no light or whatever it is, or flood, whatever it is, that might cause the shutdown in the system. There will still be light in Akure, in this capital city here. But when it comes to region simply means the whole of Nigeria. If at all the dam is not supplying Akure water, Akure lights, Ibadan should have lights, Warri should still have lights. If at all, if the 2 of them is not working, one of them will start work. Out of 3, one will work. So that's one thing about region. So most times you see multi-availability zone simply means if at all 2 is not working, one will still work. So your file, anytime you save a file, they are being saved in at least 3 regions. So, and of course there are some countries that they are not having up to 3 regions too. I don't know how they do that, but anytime they say the minimum availability zone is 3, take note of that. Minimum is 3. But how AWS manage the ones that are not to 3, I don't know about that. But then just know the 3. Anytime you see it in the question, the answer is 3. You must have at least 3. That's why we call it multi-tier, not that. That means 2. So we talk about this. Then quiz. So what's the difference between region and availability zone? Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
So I said,
what's the questions?
What's the difference between region and availability zone? Can you see my screen?
Yes, on question 1, what's the difference between region and availability zone?
Yeah, can someone answer? I think he's asking questions.
So you guys are not really be following me.
No, we are following you now.
Yeah, what's the difference between region and availability zone? I think this is very straightforward.
Yeah. Region is the number of places it is kind of the services is available. region is, let me say, in Nigeria like this, like a particular, let me say some states that are, those are what are called regions, but availability zone are zones that the services are actually available.
Okay.
No. That's Kabiru, is that what?
The regions are US East, US East one.
No, you are not supposed to answer. So what they are asking, what is a region? Not types of, not like where are the regions. So a region comprises of multiple availability zones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a region is classified as Ondo states, while availability zone is classified as Owo, Akure. So that's the way you should think about it. So in a region, you have multiple availability zones. You can have 3, you can have 4, depends on how you are designing your infrastructure. Do you get it? An availability zone comprises of multiple data centers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's question 1. So what's rapid elasticity? What do you really understand with rapid elasticity? Can brother hear me? Okay, yeah, well, can you hear me?
Increase the size of your data storage.
Not really loud enough.
Access to increase the size of your data storage.
Like, I don't get.
Like expanding your data storage from probably what you have and you want to expand. Probably it is full and you need to add more to it so that you can have access to better space to add more data.
Yeah, but when you say rapid, it simply means in seconds. Seconds.
Like, so when you answer questions like this, when you're in cloud world, there are things you're expected to say. Because there's a reason why you are doing rapid elasticity. You know what? You understand. So I understand your explanation. I think it fits in, but it doesn't really. It fits in non-technical.
In a layman language,
yeah, it's a layman language. But you talk like a cloud engineer now. Like that's what I'm expecting you get.
Is it the ability to scale to make the system scalable?
Yeah, scaling up, ability to scale up and scale down. How should I put it? Rapid scaling up and scaling down. Basically, let's put it that way. So at any point in time, you can actually increase your size and it can actually decrease it anytime. If you're no longer in need of it, it comes down, it decreases himself to the usage, to what you are using presently. So just a rapid scaling up and scaling down. That's just what it is about.
Auto scaling group, Abi.
Yeah, those are the work of auto scaling group. So that's what they do for you. So anytime you just 70% utilization, let's create another instance, or let's increase the size of the instance. So those are their job. An elastic load balancer. Okay, no, that's not the function of an elastic load balancer. So that's their function actually. So okay, I think we are done for today. Creating an AWS account, we don't really need that to do. I should show you how to create an IMI user. Let's create one. Although the time is almost up for this. Or let me show you how to create an IMI user. We have 2 minutes left, so let's take a look at what we have here.
I would advise maybe they should drop and join the call back.
Okay. So you guys should connect again. I want to end the meeting with the same link. Reserved for this type of operation. So use IMI user for it. So you click on next. Or not this. That's an error right in there. Okay. So you can either type your account ID or whatever it is that you want to type. So or the alias name. So Did I use this or I use the other digit that's popped up the other time? So I mean, that's it. So that is I'm in. So let's go to the IMI. I already said how we are going to get there. So IAM, Identity and Access Management. So that's what it does. Manage your identity. So this is the dashboard. You having the user group, the user, the role, the policy, the identity provider, the account setting. This is the management. So let's take a look at this before we proceed. So that's creating an account. So does this one for root user, whatever it is that you want to do. You can see the multi-factor authentication. AWS, one thing about multi-factor authentication that AWS does you can, if you are doing out the account, you can't force your IMI user to create an MFA account authentication. No, you can't force them. You can't say, oh, anybody that wants to create account, create MFA for them. No, it's their own choice. They have to do it themselves. So that's what MFA does with it. So multi-factor authentication is another way of securing your server. So you set up billions alarm and the rest. So this identity and access management. In AWS, so we want to create an IMI user or a role that you can give to someone else and you have access to the account. So that's just, we have the principal. When you talk about principal, you're talking about an entity that can make an authentication request to any system. So take, for example, when I wanted to log in the other time now. Okay, let me repeat that process again so that you can have a clear view of it. So let me log out. Let me sign out so that you can have a view of it. So what I actually want to do here now is I'm an entity. I have access to this account because I have the password. I have every that stuff like that. So that's what we do. That's what it does here. Now authentication is like the process of verifying the entity. So once I click sign in, it's going to verify the entity. As you can see, it was load, verifying my entity. That, oh, is it really the one? If the password is not correct, it's going to deny you access. Authorization simply is the process of allowing or denying. So if I'm not the one, it's going to deny me. That means if I change the username or whatever it is I changed, it's going to deny me access, saying what incorrect. Probably going to alert the owner of the accounts. So entity is the authenticated principal. So identity and authenticated principal. So I'm in already. So I'm already authenticated. I have access to everything in this account. That's the meaning of what? An authenticated principal. So that's then because I already have an IMI user. So now, as you can see now, I have access to Amazon SES, the CloudFront, CloudWatch, whatever it is. You have access to it right in here. That's if the root user trusts you with this access. So it's giving you trust access to all these things. You have access to it. And there's something called list privilege. It's a list privilege. Okay, principle of list privilege. It says you only give the permission required to do a job or to perform an action. Let's say, for example, the only thing you want to do is you want to create an EC2 instance in an account. So if I want to create an IMI user for you, the only thing I'll be doing is I'll give you an EC2 role only, not administrative access. Administrative simply means we are really the owner of the account. But EC2 simply means you only have access to anything that has to do with EC2. Anything apart from that, you cannot do. Like getting file from the S3 bucket, accessing documents, you should always deny you access to it. So that's that about that. So identity access management. So what there was an IAM. So it's an AWS service that allows us to create multiple identities and control what permission or actions this identity can perform in our AWS account. So you can create multiple identities, control permission. Like I said, this privilege. So that's what it does for us. And as I already showed you that time, we have IMI user, IMI group, and IMI role, just like you see. Yeah, user group, role, policy, and the rest. So they are there. So see, everything you see in the theory is also applicable in the practical. When I say user, it's an entity that needs access to your AWS account. I want to log into your account. That's what the meaning of IMI user. But IMI group simply is an entity that is, maybe let's say, for example, you're having, as a company, you're having like, maybe let's say you want your, let's say, for example, the senior managers to have access to a particular resources, while the juniors, you want to exclude them from that resources. You create a group and you put all the senior managers in that group. So instead of specifying it one by one, once you create that group, they have access to, they automatically have access to that stuff. So you can create a group, an IMI group in another IMI group, but you can have multiple users in different IMI groups. So that's what this does. An IMI role is an entity that is used to grant your AWS services or external access to your AWS account. So you create a role whenever you need someone to, like, want to give someone trust relationship access to have access to your account, or to grant a particular service access to your account. So let's take a look at user. So let me show you how a user does. So let's take whether my own user now is my training user, and it says logged in, I think 5 minutes ago. So that's this this particular user logged in 16 hours ago. So you have access to everything here, as you can see. So this now belongs to the migration group. So anything that has to do with migration rule, he has access to it. So now let me show you. This is it. So let's see permission given to him. So he has administrative access, it has power user access. So if you want to give him administrative access, you can just give him power user access only, because administrative access gives him access to other resources. But if you only want him to do the power aspect of AWS, you give him power access. So that's that with that. Then access advisor, I don't think we really need that. Then let's go back to our group. Okay, so we're having groups here. So anybody that is in this group automatically have access to any permission that we are giving. Okay, so the user here now, separate permission. Let's take, for example, this user have access to, let's see what this user have access to. I don't know, are you guys getting me?
Yes.
So this one have access to S34 access, administrative access, and lots more like that. So I have access to all this. So then this also a managed policy. This one is AWS managed, this one is customer managed policy. So we are going to see it in the other thing. We have types of policy. So now there are two ways you can authenticate the IMI user. Is that you give him a username and password, or you create an access key / secret access key for him. So that's what this does actually. So let me check if I have username is what I used to log into this account. Access key and secret access key. Let's take a look at it if one is running. So let's go to user. And so once you are free, you can just try to maneuver your way around the AWS console and see how it's being run. So you click on security credentials. So that shows you. So I'm having an access key right in here. Let me delete this. Deactivate this. So this you don't share this with anyone unless the person, you are trusting the person with access to the resources. Even once the person is done, you can create as many as possible. So you can deactivate this. Okay, let me show you the CLI. Let me show you something. Now, I said we have two ways of like entering this. You can enter through the username and the rest. And you can also use the command prompt. So can you see the command prompt here? So let me say AWS configure is a command for like assigning the secret access and secret key. So let's see what we have here. So it's still loading.
I can't see the command prompt.
Okay, you can see. Let me come in. Let me see. Okay, you should be able to see it. Share. Can you see the command prompt now? Can you see it?
Okay.
So I actually typed AWS configure. So configure this with, like, I want to like input my access key. I already have one here already.
Okay, yes.
So if I want to override this, so this one is already linked to the account. Let me show you a picture of it. Let me try to minimize this. Let me make this bigger. So I have one here, it ends with 0Q, N0Q. So this one also ends with N0Q. So this that is already configured already, the access key. But assuming you want to override it, all you just need to do is to create another access key. Okay, let me show you something. Let me try and override this. Okay, just click on enter, click on enter. All this now will be configured. So let's type a command. Let me check if this command will work. Get S3 buckets. Let me check. That's the right command. Yeah.
Is this your command prompt from your computer? Like
Yeah.
from your main?
Yeah, from my system. But then you have to.
How come your command prompt is working with what is in your Chrome?
Yeah, because I've already like installed it. But I want to show you something first. Now, if you want to do that, you just come here. Let's search for AWS CLI. You call it AWS CLI, command line interface. So as you can see, we have one here. So you install AWS CLI on your system. There are guidelines to do that. Just follow the procedure given to us here. So I'm trying to get the commands line for us. I'm not running this instance, so let's use AWS S3. So let's try this. Okay, so let's try that code on the let's see if it's going to return an output. So it says access denied. So it's when call it a list object v2. So let me try the code again. Is just list. So it's going to list this S3. So these are the bucket I'm having in my account. As you can see, I'm having Amuda, KB, I'm having this. So as can let me show you my S3 dashboard. Let me log in. Sorry. So definitely I can create another bucket for my CLI. So I'm just trying to show you ways you can actually do things instead of logging in to this place. So let's go to S3 and let me show you what is right in there. So these are the buckets I'm having right in here now. Exactly what it listed. It did everything. That's our AWS S3 list. LS is for lists. That's the meaning of LS. So that's it. So if I want another one, let's say AWS Cloud Tray. LS. It's going to list the ones that I'm having. And if it's okay, it says the command prompt is wrong. So you can ask, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to create a trail? You understand the word cloud trail, but LS is probably does not really understand that. So what is giving option now? Do you want to stop logging? You want to start logging? Whatever it is. So whatever it is that you want to do now, just say, okay, AWS cloud trail, give it space, start logging, or whatever it is that you want to do, or update trail or delete trail, whatever it is you want to do. So let's say, okay, list public key. Let's check if you have that. I don't want to tamper with anything in the cloud tray. No. So give it space. I say describe tray. So instead of doing this with Lambda or whatever it is, so you can actually do it right in here. So let's see the command interface. So this is it. So just I'm having a tray list right in there. So It's showing me everything that has to do with this. I don't, let me increase the. Okay. Now, can you guys see? So what this is doing is that it's showing me, it's describing the trail as it's existing right in there. The name of the trail, the bucket, the S3 bucket name, like just like what we have right in here. S3 bucket name, cloud trail log, and the likes. So that's it. AWS cloud trail log. Then what else again? So yes, it's one, whatever, all the information has been provided right in here. The CloudWatch log ARN, whatever it is that you want to do. So you can actually do it here. If you want to update, I can update as many what I want right in here, because I've been given what access. It's more or less like you giving me your username to the account. So that's why they said username and password, or access key and secret access key gives you trust access to this. That's this aspect. But assuming the owner of the account, because whenever you just create this, and whenever you create this, you don't have access to it again. You don't have access to the secret key. So you can create as many as possible that you want. If I don't want this, I can actually delete it and create another one. So whenever you just see that, oh, this is already becoming public. Okay, don't worry about it. We will still retake it. So if I want to create another one now, I can just create access key. So there are some problems that you might be encountering. As you can see secret access key now. Now, if I use this now let me show you a particular error that you might encounter. In secret access key, once it's having slash plus, once your secret access key is having slash plus, which other sign? I think those two signs, and there's one more. It's not going to run in the AWS command prompt. Now let me show you. Okay, no, let's copy this first. We copy this first. I want to show you something right in here. Copy, then now I want to configure. You say AWS configure. So when you say configure, it automatically say, oh, you want to log into another account. Configure. You want to log in with another access key. That's what we are trying to tell him. So you say, okay, well, what's the new access key? If you are not changing anything, you leave it alone. Then what's the secret access key? So I come right in here again. So you can actually download the access key so that anytime you need access to it, you can have access to it. But if you're not having access to it, you guys create another one. So US is one, see the same region. That's the default region. It's global. Global in the sense that it's not region based. And then which output do you want? Is it JSON? Is it YAML? Is it text format or whatever it is? So now if I say let me say AWS S3 LS, that time it returned a function for us. So this time around it's not going to work. Okay, it's working. But yeah, some function you won't be able to do with this. Okay, no, let me check something out. Exempted credentials in secret key. There are some function like plus secret. Let me check. Let me check the spelling of the secret credentials. Secret. Okay, SCE CRET secret access key. Exempted value. So that in case you encounter an error at any point in time, you might actually know how to go about it. So if prevention will run it and it's not working, all you just need to do is create another one. That means your class key is having a particular value that is not acceptable. I find it here. But probably we show you a screenshot of that maybe later.
That one that you said, it was the last one that you said it won't work. What happened that it worked?
Yeah, there's, I don't know, but that's what I actually want to check. Sometimes it will return error, sometimes it won't. That's what I actually want to check the key aspect of it that doesn't work. Okay. CLI. Is it CLI? Okay. Let me check. It should be CLI. Yeah, let's forget this one on this secret access key. Let's see. Let me check whether if I can find this. Yeah. If not, probably I will just share an example of it in the group. Okay, it's not yet, but I will try to look for it. The values that are not acceptable. So by the time you run that value, is not going to be accepted. It's like going to return an error or whatever it is that it wants to do. So what it doesn't do
this
is
secret access key has slash.
Yeah, it has slash. Yeah. Why it
That
worked?
means it's not accepted.
Yeah, slash is not accepted. But why it worked? Like it will create it for you, but slash does not really work on AWS CLI. Yeah, it should be CLI. CLI actually worked. I'm not sure of it should be CLI. But why it worked, I can't actually say because I've actually configured like run stuff on it. So one way or the other, I might have closed exempt a particular value right in there. But then I will like show, I will screenshot an example of why it won't work. Because I've actually encountered some of the problem before. So that's why I'm saying it won't work. Especially positive sign. Positive sign doesn't really work. I'm starting on positive. So when time doesn't work, all you just do is you delete and you create another one.
You create another access key.
Yeah. Access key is free of charge. So
okay.
You don't need to bother about it. You can deactivate, delete, create. AWS are concerned about security, and that's why they say they are highly secured. So if you don't need it, you create another one. You just access key. So if you are in a particular, if you are working for a client and the client does not give you access to his access key, this time around you don't have access to his access key, so you can't use the CLI. You can't use the CLI because you don't have access to his access key. So what you are going to do is you are going to assume a role. They call it STS, security token service. So use an assume role. So that's why we have role. And here we talked about role. We said, what do we call role? We said it grants your AWS service or external access to your AWS accounts. So the role will just be for maybe 24 hours, you're going to have access to the account or less than that. So after that time, you have to like create another access key.
What you're saying is if the client is not giving you access key to work on probably his own account.
On his own accounts.
If you now create a role, it will give you access for 24 hours to work on that person's account.
Yes. Now, no, this is what we're going to do. We are going to create an assumed role. Take note of the word assume.
Yeah. Okay.
What assume role does is that, fine, this is my own account. Okay, let me show you something here now. I think I can't remember. Let me just create one here now. Let me create role. I want to create a role that will give me probably administrative access to the accounts or whatever it is. So this is it now. Maybe I want to deal with EC2 or Lambda, whatever it is that I want to deal with. Use case. click on this. So let me search for. So all this one are AWS managed. All this one are AWS managed. All this one are just the one we created custom from broad custom. So administrative access, this is it. Then you click on next. Administrative access simply means you have access to everything. So let's call it a Zoom role. So the service here is EC2, right? But we don't want the service. We want we want a user to have access to it, not this to service. So what I'll just do is, okay, no, let me create this first, then I'll show you how to do that. So let's create the role. Okay, it's creating the role first. Okay, so this role has already created. So let's go back to user now. So the person that have access to this Azure role is this user, Gemini training user. So assuming Gemini training user does not give me access to his access key, I can access that file right in there. So all I just need to do is I can come right in here and have give this user an assumed role. And how do I do that? Let me show you how to do that. You just come here, you copy this URL. As you can see, you copy that person's URL. Like you want to give me access to your accounts, you copy the URL right in here. You copy, then you go back to the role. So I'm in Gemini training user's account. It gives me access to his password and every other stuff, but I don't have access to his access key and secret access key. So assumed. So this is it. So all you just do is you come to trust relationship. Trust relationship. You can see. So I want to edit this trust policy. It's only EC2 that have access to this, to use this. Apart from EC2 instance, no other person can use it. So I say AWS. I'm giving an account. So it's AWS that you use. So the next thing is which AWS account. So I just paste my URL, Control V. So with this now, the account more now have access to this account. If I say AWS LS is going to like print everything right in here in this person's account for me. Okay, so that's it. So now let me try and log into that person's account. Now if I have access to it. Okay, let me sign out. Although this one might be a bit confusing. Confusing in what sense? They both share the same accounts, but one cannot call one. I don't know if you're getting me. Okay, I'm into another account now. Yeah, I still having access to the same resources, sharing the same billing plan and every other stuffs, but one cannot like in a situation whereby it's different account. Assuming I have this one does not deal with John Capable's account, it's another person's account. You'll have to actually understand this one better.
I think that is why it is confusing, because you probably have access to all the accounts and you probably have the same thing.
Yeah. But assuming
so basically what you have done is that you have created an IAM account, and you have authorized, you use the guy's account to authorize that account so that you'll be able to have access to his stuff, right?
Yeah, that's what I've just done. So I have access to anything related to that account. I can actually retrieve information from that account, edit whatever it is that I want to edit from that account.
Without the person's permission.
Yeah. So now I'm going to show you I'm going to show you something now. Okay, yeah, this is what I actually wanted to show you. Let me show you something. Okay. Come to user. So we create a secret access key for this in assumed row. Okay, no, sorry. I think I've actually joined this thing together. In assumed row, let me start from in assumed row. You want to create an access key, a temporary access key. Temporary. What do I mean by temporary? That okay,
forward.
Yeah. So within that period, you have access to his accounts. Let me delete this because I don't know the secret access key, so it's not useful. Copy, then paste. So you're just trying to confirm that, are you sure you want to delete this? So you just click on create access key again. Then you copy this. Now I want to override this. AWS configure. Zoom in capital letter. It's going to ask me that, okay, now to put a new one. Yes. And the access key. So Control C. Then we have Control V. Then region, still same region. That's default region. Okay, so we say AWS S3LS. Now I'm into Amuda's accounts, Moa's accounts. So anything that is in that person's account is going to print it out. It's because they are sharing the same account. That's why you are still having this. I don't know if you are getting me. Because we are sharing the same account, that's why I'm still having the same something like this. But if I want to create an assumed row for that person's account, this is what I'm going to do. You have to be. Yes, assumed row. What I actually want to do is I want to get the code. You can look things up, like if you don't really understand the coding aspect, you just look it or just check it out. So this synopsis, like what we are going to use. So let me teach you how to read AWS documentation too. Let's take, for example, okay. So this is the code now, AWS STS, Security Token Service. Yeah, assumed role, the role ARN. What's the role that I want to assume? You place, you put it here, right in here. Then it's a role session, the session name, whatever it is. So you just copy this. Then you place it right in here. Just create a folder. I'm going to edit this role ARN. I think I should. I don't know where I actually put the one that I have. Still right in here. Can't say, but then okay. So this one, the role ARN I created. Let me go to the account back. So this just let me paste the code same here. Control V. So what's the session name? The session name can be anything. This one can be anything, any name, just a name of your choice. So let's say this. Let's say close it back. Then this, the role ARN. Which role ARN? let's that should have been from the my user. So what we actually want to do is we want to copy that role ARN from the my user. Let me close this. That's the error I did. I should have copied the role ARN before coming here. So let me come right in here. The role I created was assumed role. So assuming I've forgotten, assuming like the two accounts are not linked together, I will have to log back into that person's account to get the same file. So you copy the role ARN, then you come right in here. Just do this, you click here, and you give it the Control V. You just copy this, Control C, then you come back right in here. So what I've actually done here is that I've copied the role that we created. This role, this is the name of the role, assumed role. And we say we want to assume the role for it that this account is going to have access to this particular service. So if I'm to use the rule of least privilege, I should just assign only EC2 role to it. But I gave it that administrative factor that is I have access to the whole account. Now let me run this. So it's going to create a secret access key for me and an access key ID. So this is it now. This is the credentials it created for me. The access key ID, the secret access key, the expiration. So the time presently is let me show you the time. It's 2:24 right in here. So it says it's going to expire. Okay, it's using normal GMT time. That's normal GMT time. That's UTC. Yeah, +1. Okay, that's 10:24. 10:24. Yeah, 30. Okay, so it's going to expire this time. Today is 7:02. So when is 02? 7:02. Let's check. 7:02. 10:24 is going to expire in 1 hour time. So that's it. The normal UTC +0. So this same code is going to expire in 1 hour time. Now let me show you some. I'm not sure whether I'm going to still spend up to 1 hour here. After 1 hour, I want to input this access key now right in here. After 1 hour, if I'm to enter the same command I entered, it's not going to work. AWS Configure. Okay, there's a way they can do it. I should have done it that way because we don't have up to 1 hour here. So let me limit the time. How do you limit the time? You add it to the code. So I said I wanted to teach you how to read this. So okay, now let's throw up. This is the role ARN. You create this, the role session name, this same process you follow, the policy ARN, the policy, whatever policy you want to attach, duration. So this is what we want. So what I actually want is just this. Copy this. Then I'll give it a duration of in seconds. So the default value is 3600 seconds. That's how many minutes? Divided by 6, that's 1 minute, right? That 1 minute also. We have 60 minutes. That's 1 hour. And I said it's in. So let me run the code again. So let me add this to it. You give it space bar. As you can see, space bar. You give it space. Then you type the seconds you want. So they said the integer. This is what's in string. That's why it's having column. So integer, let me type 60 seconds. 60. Then you give space bar again. So 60 seconds is too small, right? We should be able to do whatever it is that I want to do in 60 seconds. Oh, no. Let me give it 120. That's 2 minutes. 120 seconds. So in 2 minutes, we can actually input the code, whatever thing we want to input, Control C. Control V. So we are giving it 120 seconds. So this code is going to run just parameter. Okay. It says minimum is 900. So okay, Control V. Minimum is 900 seconds. So that's how you read the error. So let's copy this. Control C. And then say AWS Configure. Then Control V. Then you come right in here to you copy. That's Control C. Control V. Then you copy then region name West East 1. Then JSON. Okay, so if I say AWS S3 LS. So it says, yeah, this was what I was talking about. You see that this one is having slash. So it's not going to work. That's why it's not working now. So it's when we are using an assumed row that it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another credential, another row for it. So I just come right in here, create another row. Until I have the one that is not having slash. So Control V. So let's see the row that we're having right in here. It's an error code I copied. Okay. Okay, Control O. What's that really saying right in here is it's not going to call the assumed row because this one is not working. So I have to, yeah.
Mr. Kab, when is this class ending?
How is that? Let's run it up in the next 20 minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so you have to create another access key.
You know, I'm still having issues with this slash of the thing. The other one had slash and it worked. Now, this one that created slash.
Okay, now
automatically say it won't work.
Now, the reason why it didn't work was because it's an assumed row. So for assumed row, it won't work. But for normal access key, yeah, it will work at all. Slash and plus, it won't work. But for normal one, it's going to work for like whenever you want to use the normal one that you created, that it doesn't expire, it's going to work. That's what happened there. Assuming Brushola was around, they will have explained better. Because there's a project we just did on it of recent.
Back. We need to take this access key back because I think the row, assume row could be.
Yeah, maybe we take it tomorrow. But let me just try to run things up for now. So I actually wanted